The Swineherd by Hans Christian Andersen. There once was a poor prince who had a kingdom. His kingdom was very small, but still quite large enough to marry upon, and he wished to marry. It was certainly rather cool of him to say to the emperor's daughter, "Will you have me?" But so he did, for his name was renowned far and wide, and there were 100 princesses who would have answered, "Yes, and oh, thank you kindly." We shall see what this princess said. Listen. It happened that where the prince's father lay buried, there grew a rose tree, a most beautiful rose tree which blossomed only once in every 5 years, and even then bore only one flower, but that was a rose. It smelt so sweet that all cares and sorrows were forgotten by him who inhaled its fragrance. And furthermore, the prince had a nightingale, who could sing in such a manner that it seemed as though all sweet melodies dwelt in her little throat. So the princess was to have the rose and the nightingale, and they were put into a large silver casket and sent to her. The emperor had them brought into a large hall where the princess was playing at visiting with the ladies of the court. And when she saw the casket with the presents, she clapped her hands for joy. "Oh, if it were but a little pussy-cat," she said. But the rose tree with its beautiful rose came into view. "Oh, how prettily it is made," said all the court ladies. "It is more than pretty," said the emperor. "It is charming." But the princess touched it and was almost ready to cry. "Fie, Papa," she said. "It is not made at all. It is natural." "Let us see what is in the other casket before we get into a bad humor," said the emperor. So the nightingale came forth and sang so delightfully that at first no one could say anything ill-humored of her. "Superb! Charmant!" exclaimed the ladies, for they had used all the French chatter, each one worse than her neighbor. "How much the bird reminds me of my musical box that belonged to our blessed empress," said the old knight. "Oh, yes, these are the same tones, the same execution." "Yes, yes," said the emperor, and he wept like a child at its remembrance. "I will still hope that it is not a real bird," said the princess. "Yes, it is a real bird," said those who had brought it. "Well, then let the bird fly," said the princess,